There's a name behind one of the most powerful communication tools in the world, a name most people don't even recognize. The man who built it didn't come from wealth, nor did he have powerful connections. In fact, at one point, he was struggling just to survive. But somehow, he went from cleaning grocery stores to creating an app that would change the way the world communicates. His name is John Coombe, and his story is one of the most shocking, inspiring, and controversial tales in tech history. But how did a boy from Soviet Ukraine, raised in a cramped apartment under constant government surveillance, rise to become a billionaire? And why, after achieving unimaginable success, did he walk away from it all? Stay with us, because the truth behind WhatsApp's rise isn't as simple as it seems. Jan Koum was born in 1976 in Kyiv, Ukraine, during one of the most repressive periods in Soviet history. Life wasn't just difficult, it was suffocating. The government monitored its citizens relentlessly, and privacy was a luxury that didn't exist. Every phone call, every conversation, every move was under watch. People knew better than to speak their minds openly. Growing up in such an environment, Koum learned early that secrecy wasn't just important, it was survival. Food was scarce. His family lived in a cramped apartment with unreliable utilities, constantly worried about when the next hardship would strike. His parents, like so many others, lived in fear of the government, knowing that a single misstep could bring disastrous consequences. The idea of personal freedom wasn't just a foreign concept, it was unthinkable. These early experiences planted a seed in Koum's mind, one that would later shape the philosophy behind his greatest creation. Then, at the age of 16, he and his mother left Ukraine for America. They arrived in Mountain View, California, with almost nothing. They relied on food stamps to survive, and his mother took up work as a babysitter just to make ends meet. The transition was brutal. The promise of the American dream seemed distant as they struggled to keep a roof over their heads. But Koum wasn't the type to sit back and accept his fate. He had already seen the worst. There was nowhere to go but up. If he thought life in America would be easy, he was mistaken. Adapting to a completely new culture was overwhelming, but even more pressing was the constant financial struggle. He and his mother lived in a tiny apartment, rationing every dollar, often unsure how they would make it through the month. The reality of being an immigrant in a foreign land was harsh, and Koum quickly realized that if he wanted a different life, he would have to build it himself. To contribute, he took up small jobs, including cleaning floors at a grocery store. It was exhausting, degrading work, but he had no choice. He understood, perhaps better than most, that no one was coming to save him. Every single dollar mattered, and with no safety net, failure simply wasn't an option. But amidst all the struggle, something clicked. He discovered an escape: computers. With no money for formal education, he taught himself programming by reading outdated manuals, borrowing books from the library, and endlessly experimenting with code. He didn't have the luxury of expensive tutors or elite schools. He had raw determination and an insatiable curiosity, and that was enough. By the late 90s, the internet was exploding, and with his self-taught skills, Koum managed to land a job at Yahoo in 1997 as an infrastructure engineer. It was a turning point. Here he was, a former grocery store janitor, now working for one of the biggest tech companies in the world. But Koum wasn't just happy to have a job. He was watching, learning, and planning. It was at Yahoo that he met Brian Acton, a fellow engineer who shared his frustrations with the growing internet industry. Ads were taking over, companies were tracking user data, and personal privacy was being sacrificed in the name of profit. Koum and Acton bonded over their mutual belief that the internet was heading in the wrong direction. They wanted to change that. For nearly a decade, Koum honed his skills at Yahoo. He learned how to build systems that could handle millions of users, how to manage large-scale infrastructure, and, most importantly, how the tech world really worked behind the scenes. But despite his stable job and growing expertise, he wasn't satisfied. He wasn't interested in just working for someone else. He wanted to build something of his own, something different, something revolutionary. By 2007, Coombe had enough. He left Yahoo and began traveling, searching for inspiration. That's when he noticed something. The smartphone revolution was underway. People were beginning to rely on mobile apps more than ever, but communication was still clunky, unreliable, and worst of all, riddled with ads. That's when it hit him. What if he could create a messaging app that was simple, ad-free, and secure? He partnered with Acton, and in 2009, WhatsApp was born. At first, it was basic, just a simple status update tool. But as they refined it, it evolved into a messaging app that prioritized privacy and reliability over profits. Unlike other tech companies chasing advertising dollars, Coombe refused to sell user data. His childhood experiences in Soviet Ukraine had made one thing clear. Privacy wasn't a privilege, it was a right. Word spread fast. WhatsApp wasn't just another messaging app, it was a movement. Within a few years, it became one of the most downloaded apps in the world. But as the app's popularity soared, something unexpected happened that would shake the tech world to its core. By 2014, WhatsApp had grown beyond anyone's wildest expectations. It wasn't just another app, it was the go-to communication tool for millions. And that's when Facebook came knocking with an offer that stunned the industry: $19.3 billion. It was one of the biggest tech acquisitions in history. Coombe agreed to sell, but only on one condition: WhatsApp had to remain ad-free. Facebook agreed, and for a while it seemed like WhatsApp's core values would be preserved. But power struggles behind the scenes would soon put Coombe's vision in jeopardy. As the years passed, Facebook started pushing for changes: more data collection, monetization strategies, and eventually ads. Coombe resisted. He had built WhatsApp on the principle of privacy, and he wasn't about to watch it become another data harvesting tool. But resistance had its price. The tension between Coombe and Facebook's leadership reached a breaking point. In 2018, he made a shocking decision. He walked away from the company, leaving behind billions of dollars in unclaimed stock options. For him, integrity mattered more than money. Since leaving WhatsApp, Coombe has largely stayed out of the public eye. Unlike other tech billionaires, he has no interest in fame. But his wealth hasn't gone to waste. He's donated millions to charities, particularly those supporting Ukraine and Jewish causes. He continues to invest quietly, staying true to his principles while avoiding the spotlight. His story isn't just about money, it's about standing firm in a world that constantly tries to compromise values for profit. While others sold out, Coombe walked away, proving that sometimes true success isn't measured in billions. John Coombe's journey is one of the most remarkable in tech history. He didn't just build an app, he built a symbol of privacy and resistance against corporate greed. His story proves that no matter where you start, it's possible to change the world. But in a digital age where privacy is constantly under attack, one question remains: how long will the legacy of WhatsApp's original vision survive? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.